Within the past 5 months, Pope Francis has named 3 clerics formerly of Chicago as bishops of different dioceses. My first reaction to this is that the McCarrick network is alive and well in the United States. The first bishop is Bishop Alberto Rojas. He was formerly an auxiliary bishop of Chicago. He was named as the Bishop of San Bernardino, California. In a statement, Bishop Rojas thanked his spiritual fathers, Cardinal Bernardine, Cardinal George, and Cardinal Supich. In an article about Bishop Rojas, it said that he heard about Casa Jesus, a now-closed house of discernment for Hispanic men in the Archdiocese of Chicago. This place was actually known as a hotbed for homosexuality in Chicago. The other 2 bishops, there's not as much information on them. The next one is Bishop Michael McGovern. He was named the Bishop of Belleville, Illinois. He was ordained a priest by Cardinal Bernardine, and he worked in the Chicago Chancellor's office in the early 2000s, and apparently he had a hand in covering up a predator priest in 2003. This was alleged by SNAP, the Survivors Network of those abused by priests. So take that as you will. And the final bishop is Bishop Louis Tilka. He was named the Bishop of Peoria, Illinois. He was ordained by Bernardine, and I couldn't find any additional information on him. And what I will say is the fact that there were 3 clerics from the Archdiocese of Chicago who were named bishops within the past 5 months. It demonstrates what kind of influence Cardinal Supich has over the decisions made by Pope Francis. And Supich being part of the McCarrick network, and considering that a few of these priests were ordained by Bernardine, who was supposedly friends with McCarrick, that demonstrates just the stranglehold that the McCarrick network still has over the church in America. And meanwhile, those of us in the laity are wondering, where is the McCarrick report? It was supposed to come out a very long time ago. Cardinal O'Malley said it would be out possibly before Christmas of 2019. And now, 5 months later, we're still waiting for it. My expectations for the McCarrick report is that it will be heavily redacted because it's being released by the Vatican, and they probably don't want to implicate people because it would include numerous people in the Vatican as well as active cardinals and bishops in the United States. What I want to see is the actual documents, emails, correspondence. I want to see the raw sources of everything that went on in terms of McCarrick's past. I'm sure there are plenty of files and emails that include the inconvenient history of McCarrick's past. I want that to be released, not some heavily redacted report by the Vatican. Let's just say I don't think it's going to come from the USCCB, and I don't think it's going to come from the Vatican. I have zero confidence that either of those organizations will do a thorough investigation of McCarrick. And what is Pope Francis doing while he's not releasing the McCarrick report? Well, he's talking about an interfaith ceremony on May 14th. Is this Pope Francis's JP2 moment? Recall, John Paul II in 1986 organized an Assisi gathering in which leaders of different religious organizations, including pagans, prayed at Assisi. In a tweet, Pope Francis said, "I would like to remind you that on May 14th, believers of every religion are invited to unite themselves spiritually in a day of prayer, fasting, and works of charity to implore God to help humanity overcome the coronavirus." Now, Pope Francis has really promoted interfaith dialogue extensively during his papacy. Recall that he signed this document in Abu Dhabi with the Mohammedan leader that says that God wills all religions. And the Vatican's propaganda outlet, Vatican News, posted a tweet that said Pope Francis is inviting all Christians to join an initiative on May 14th. You can clearly see in the photo that they have included with this tweet that there are other religions than Christians. So they didn't get the memo. The USCCB also shared this information, and they didn't get the memo that it wasn't just Christians. Pope Francis invited all religions, the heretics, the pagans, all religions in the world. And also recall that May 13th is a special date in which Our Lady of Fatima appeared to the children in Portugal. So this interfaith prayer day occurs one day after Fatima. We'll see how much Pope Francis talks about Fatima, if he does at all, and how much he talks about this interfaith day of prayer. And I just want to quote the Douay Rheims version of the Bible, John chapter 3, verses 17 and 18. It says, "For God sent not his Son into the world to judge the world, but that the world may be saved by him. He that believeth in him is not judged, but he that doth not believe is already judged, because he believeth not in the name of the only begotten Son of God." I am in favor of interfaith gatherings if you tell the heretics and the pagans that Jesus is the only way to the Father. And if we continue to promote interreligious dialogue, interfaith gatherings, and we don't tell the pagans and the heretics that Jesus is the Savior of the world, then we're not doing them a favor at all, and we're promoting false religions. So on May 14th, I think we should participate in a day of prayer, but instead we should be praying for the conversion of the pagans and the heretics.